is Samira Bellissimo. I am 16 years old and I just published my first book. My book is called Beyond the Darkness. On the surface, my book is about 4 shape-shifting kids who work to take back their kingdom from the clutches of a corrupted ruler. In reality, it has many deeper meanings. One subject my book addresses is tragedy and how it affects us. When I was watching the news this morning, I learned of a shooting that took place yesterday at an elementary school in Connecticut. 20 children and 7 adults, including the shooter's mother, were killed. But those who are killed are not the only victims of this tragedy. My heart goes out to the families who are scarred by this, to the parents who have to explain to their children why their friends and their classmates are gone, and to the parents who no longer have children to comfort. When I watch the news, or when I just look around, the tragedies seem endless. And I know when tragedy strikes, it feels like the end of the world, but it's not. I'm going to read a chapter from my book. This chapter is called A Patch of Darkness. I don't want to rattle off a bunch of cliches just to make myself feel better. I want to tell you something that will actually help you, but I'm not sure what that is. What's a cliche? A cliche is a phrase that was originally meant to be comforting, but now it is said so often that it's just annoying. Oh, well, don't tell me one of those. I won't. But you know what I can tell you? What? That you're going to be okay. I think that's one of those cliche thingies. Only because you didn't let me finish. You're going to be okay, because while this is difficult for you now, what makes it so difficult is not understanding what happened to you. But there will come a day when you will understand what happened. And on that day, all the memories will come rushing back to you. You will relive every detail of that horrible day over and over until you find the strength to confront what happened to you. And after you have fully felt it, after you have allowed the pain to do its absolute worst, you will no longer fear it. And because we can only be enslaved by what we fear, it will no longer control you, and you will finally be able to let it go. This isn't making me feel better. You're just scaring me. I'm telling you the truth. You are young. But now you have seen and experienced the lowest, darkest side of humankind. And so now simple cliches will never satisfy you. You need to hear the truth. But not all the truth is scary. It has scary moments. But you learn how to work through them. Life has its ways of throwing us into scary, dark places. Why would life do that? To show us how strong we are, by showing us that when we find ourselves in a dark place, we always find a way out. And once you find your way out of one of those patches of darkness, the light looks a million times brighter. Your words are pretty. Thank you. But the pretty is only a bonus. First and foremost, these words are meant to help you. Are they helping you? I think so. A little. And I'll keep talking until I find the words that help a lot. One thing about trauma is you have to know where the blame belongs. I know it can be tempting to try to be a hero and feel responsible for all the bad things in the world. It's so tempting to tell yourself that in a moment of danger, you should have been the hero. You should have done something amazing. You should have done something impossible, but you didn't. Tears rolled down his cheeks. His arms were turned around my neck. I kissed his cheek and held him tight. And I know you're running that moment through your head right now, wondering where you went wrong, but you didn't. You didn't do anything wrong. He did. His hug tightened. I shrugged. So you were in a bad situation, and you didn't unleash any amazing fighting moves or supernatural powers. And while your mind may be able to stage a well-thought-out reenactment, in which case you take down that horrible man with ease, in the moment you froze, and you can never change that. And I know that's hard to accept, but it's hard to accept because you will tend to forget how you felt in that moment. The panic, the confusion, the sheer terror. You didn't have any idea of what was happening until it was over. The only way you could have been prepared is if you knew what was coming. And even if you did this 1,000 more times, the horror of knowing that someone could be twisted enough to want to hurt you like this would be enough to paralyze you each and every time. So don't beat yourself up about it. How you reacted in the moment doesn't show how brave you are. It's how you react afterwards. Awesome fighting moves are cool, but having the courage to hold your head up high, even after being abused and violated and traumatized, now that's bravery. And that's what you have. And that's why you're going to survive this. Does any of this make sense to you? With his face still buried in my shoulder, he nodded. Good. Do you want me to keep talking? He nodded. I breathed, okay. I took a moment to turn my thoughts over in my mind, solidifying them before I spoke them. I know it's hard to understand why this happened, but maybe this happened for reasons that you don't understand yet. Maybe it is important for you to know and understand this kind of trauma now, so that you can help others later. Or maybe this happened for no other reason than to give you something to look back on and say, look what I survived. If you can survive this, you can survive anything. Or maybe you'll grow up to be successful and talented and adored worldwide. And hearing the story of how you overcame to go on to live an amazing life will inspire complete strangers. Inspire? What does inspire mean? I thought for a moment, then answered. Inspire means to motivate people, to encourage them to live incredible lives by living an incredible life yourself. His face crinkled. I took his tiny hands in mine. I looked into his eyes and spoke. To inspire means to show every person in the world what you can do and dare them to do better. Oh, I can do that? Uh-huh. Everyone can. But it takes people like you, I poked his chest, people with guts, to actually do it. Oh. See, sweetheart, one way or another, something good will come out of this. Why? I stared into the big brown eyes that relied on me to help them understand their world. I decided to answer his question honestly, because if it doesn't, my entire understanding of life is wrong.